And it's very philosophical. I know we want to kind of like wind up a little bit. I know you're like, what's this got to do with selling? I think it's got everything to do with selling. And I want to ask you a super philosophical question, one that I ask at almost every training. I want you to really hear the question, because it's going to sound a little weird, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And that is, where, for human beings, you and me, does everything exist? I'm going to say there is a place for people, you and me, where everything exists. Where do you think that is? In our head, right? A lot of people will say, my mind, because when I say, where's your mind, people point to you. So if we take a giant axe, excuse the graphic nature, but if we take a giant axe and split someone's head open, what do you think's coming out? Do you see a lot of mind coming out? Like there's a piece of mind and there's another piece of mind all running around? It's not. It's like gooey stuff. It's not very, it's messy and whatever it is, right? It's not mind. Yet we speak of mind like it's real, like there is a mind. And then people get like very super technical. Well, there's like the brain and all that stuff. None of that is where anything exists for human beings. There's only one place and one place only where anything exists for human beings, and that is language. Language is the only place. Body language, English language, Chinese language, whatever language is how we understand anything, right? If we got a word for it or we got a thing for it, it exists. And so you and me, people, especially professional people, the way we relate to each other is through language, but we create structures. We call those conversations. Everyone tracking with me so far? And it's kind of like we're getting very philosophical. I promise you I'm going to land this plane in a second, right? So I want you to think about how you relate to another person. Buyer, seller, boss, peer, subordinate, whatever it is, how you relate to each other. Through language is through conversations. We structure words and meaning, and we give those structures a term. We call those conversations. Everyone with me? We're having a conversation right now. Now, the thing I need you to get that's important is there are two domains of conversations, two areas where conversations exist. Area number one is the public domain, which is what I'm saying now. Words, you're listening, I'm speaking. It's available to everybody. Can everyone get that? We call that public. But I said there were two. The second domain is private. Private is a series of conversations that only you, only the person having those conversations can listen to. We call those private conversations. And studies have shown that those conversations in our head, whatever you want to say, wherever that is, in your head, in your shoulder, I don't know where it is, but it's internal, it's private, it's not available, I can't hear it, you can't hear my internal conversations. I'm going to say that studies have shown that internal voice, we call that your internal voice, we call that your little voice. The one that right now is saying, what little voice? That little voice. And that little voice inside, let's say your head, that runs about 1 word a second, 60 words a minute, all day long, that little voice, studies have shown, is predominantly negative in nature. Negative, self-critical. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe they're going to not buy. I can tell this person doesn't like me. I can tell this is a sendee, a hostage. Natter, right? And we call that head trash. There's a technical term for it in the sales training world, head trash. It's trash in your head. And a lot of people fight to try to get rid of that. And the problem is it's like the voice trying to get rid of the voice. It's more voice. It's more negativity or more whatever. And so people go, okay, I'll do positive thinking. Well, positive thinking is just a little smear, like a ball of positive around a whole bunch of negative. You can't get rid of it. And so why am I telling you this and why is it so important? And it looks like that is because fundamentally I'm going to relieve some pain in your head, hopefully right now. And that is that you must understand you can't get rid of it. Surgery, maybe. Frontal lobotomy, maybe. I don't know. You might get rid of it that way, but you cannot get rid of it yourself. And why is that important to say? Because what I want you to think about is one thing, and one thing only. And that is that, in fact, there's one thing I don't want you to do. So you can do a whole bunch of things with that little voice. There's one thing you must not do. You must not act from that voice. So when you get this, I suck, they suck, life sucks, everything sucks, if you do something about that, you get yourself in trouble. What I'd rather you do is when you hear the, I'm not doing so great, this isn't working for me, here's the proper response. Thank you, mind, for sharing, and this is what I'm going to do anyway. So that puts you into action. Can anyone understand that that little voice is very hypnotic? And the moment you're listening and paying attention to that little voice, what's happening to the action? Has anyone noticed? We tend to get paralyzed. We tend to, so we say in the world of sales, there's no mind reading, meaning you don't read your own mind. But you know what a lot of sophisticated sellers that we have to undo damage to do? They try to listen to someone else's little voice. We call that mind reading. Like they think they get cues and that's indicative of that, whatever they're thinking. And that gets them into a world of trouble because only one person can listen to that little voice. And it's not you, right? It's only the person with the voice. So first philosophy is that we want you to not pay attention to that little voice. And so when people say to me things like, I want you to come in and train my team because they're not confident. I want everyone in this room to ask yourself, what is confident? What is that everyone thinks people like me come in to train you on? Like, how can I make you more confident? And so if you're a trainer and you want to make someone more confident, what do you tend to do? Anyone? You're a trainer and you want to make someone compliment, support, what else?